David's done an amazing job this week putting it together a presentation for us on really the membership sales funnel, which I think all of us should be employing a similar strategy for this, because it really casts a wide net of potential prospective members and takes them down a journey or a funnel to eventually becoming a paid member or subscriber of your community. So if it's okay with you, David, I'd like to pass it over to you, and you can kind of take us through the membership sales funnel and some things that we can look out for and some actionable steps we can take on our sites maybe.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. The membership sales funnel, it's really not a whole lot different than a typical sales funnel that you'd see with any other company, really. But in this presentation, we'll relate it a little bit more exclusively to membership and directory sites, give you some examples so you can kind of see how it functions and how it would apply to a website like yours. So first of all, let's cover what a sales funnel is. If you can picture a funnel, you're starting with a somewhat wide net where you're attracting leads into an awareness stage where they're just figuring out what your website is. They then move into the interest phase. You'll phase some people out as well as we move further down this funnel. And after the interest phase, some of those people will start to consider purchasing a membership on your site or an ebook or whatever product or service it is that you're offering them. And then the final step in the sales funnel is actually closing that sale. So it's a multi-step process, and it moves just general website visitors gradually into paying members. And so again, you start off with kind of that wide net, and then that gradually filters down into a certain percentage of conversions. So stage one is the awareness stage. This is the very first introduction that people would have with your website. And so it gives you an opportunity to provide some visibility of your brand. This is where you would target the specific group of people, the target demographic that you're going after, or the target industry, depending on what your website is offering. Again, in this initial stage, it's okay to cast a relatively wide net when you're going after these initial website visitors. It's not too important to really hone in on the specific people you're targeting. Again, this is just that initial phase where you're just trying to get as many eyeballs on your website as possible. And so with that, you also don't necessarily want to push any service or membership that you're offering. Really here, it's just getting some visibility to your brand, to your website, and demonstrating your authority in whatever niche it is that you're targeting or the industry. So here's where you'll focus on sharing ideas, solutions, advice, things of that nature. And so there's a few on-site as well as off-site ways that we can build some brand awareness. For the on-site ways, first things are obviously with a homepage and an about page that have clear messaging. So you really want to explain what it is your website does, the solutions that you're offering, and who your website, your community will be benefiting. You'll also want to provide helpful resources and content that, again, really shine the light on your website as the expert in whatever niche or industry it is you're targeting. And here, of course, as we've mentioned in previous webinars, you can really focus on sharing some testimonials and other social proof. And again, that goes into establishing that credibility and showing people that there are others using your website that believe in your offering and that trust you as a credible source in the industry or niche that you're in.
And just to elaborate on this, the first point there, the homepage and about pages with clear messaging. You know, your website, especially if you're not a member of the site or the community yet, they're just looking at they're looking from the outside in. So your website really needs to serve like a brochure. And, you know, when you look at a vacation brochure, you know, they have pictures, happy faces, you know, whatever the brochure is trying to sell. And if you're a prospective customer or, you know, person who might use the services that brochure is offering, you know, your messaging needs to be on point to really suck you in. And again, the next stage of awareness is the interest stage. So your brochure is providing awareness of your brand, and that's what's going to lead into the next stage of this funnel, which is the interest stage. So the reason I'm mentioning this is, you know, a lot of sites get shared in the Facebook group when we see them, and the homepage says, you know, search our member directory and join our website. but they're kind of missing some of the important brochure pages of, success stories, or what you can expect by becoming a member, the benefits of joining, what you're missing out on by not being a member. So really those what you can expect pages are the brochures of your site. And if you don't have them on your site, maybe look at some competitors, maybe just look at someone in a different industry that does it really well, and try to emulate some of the talking points or ways that they're getting their messaging across. But you definitely want your site to work as a brochure, at least 2 or 3 pages, and that's what's going to build the awareness, the trust, and the credibility, and then move them on to the interest phase and stage.
Yeah, the big thing with the on-site ways to build awareness is, and we've mentioned this simple tip in previous webinars, but you might know exactly what it is you're offering, who it'll benefit, how it'll benefit them, but somebody coming to your website for the very first time, they won't necessarily know any of that. So try to put yourself in their shoes and see your website from their perspective, and that might give you a better idea of if there's any specific areas that you can improve on, whether it's messaging or images or providing that social proof, showing that credibility, things like that. So moving on to the off-site ways to build awareness, these are things that don't necessarily need to take place specifically on your website. We do have SEO in this list, mainly because that would affect your website in other areas on the internet, like search engines. But of course, SEO would coincide with the on-site ways to build awareness. Again, you'd want to put as much valuable content and information on your website as possible to pass that information along, not only to search engines, but also to people viewing your website for the first time. But some of those other off-site ways to build awareness, social media posts, of course, you could either just post them normally from your Facebook page or your Twitter page, Instagram, whatever social platforms you're using. Or if you want to take that one step further, you could, of course, also boost those posts or pay for advertising to get those posts in front of even more people. Again, this is the very first awareness stage, so we do want to cast that pretty big net. Some other ways are guest posting or guest podcasting. Again, this depends on the target demographic, what types of content they're consuming, but if you're able to capitalize on somebody else's audience, that's a good way to send people over to your community. Again, ebooks, FAQs, white papers, providing that really valuable content to people to provide them solutions for whatever it is they're searching for. This could be webinars or videos or infographics as well. And I know right now isn't necessarily the best time to have in-person events, but depending on, again, your target demographic, your target industry, some industries really thrive with in-person events, others not so much. But that might be one avenue that you might want to explore a little bit down the road. So moving into stage 2 would be the interest phase. So this is where we already have some people coming to our website, but we want to create interest in our main offering. You have those new leads, but they're not yet prepared to consider a purchase on your website. So because they're not willing or they're not ready to make a purchase yet, what we want to do is we want to build a relationship with them. We really want to establish that trust and that credibility. We want to create a consistent brand voice that we can target our audience with, that they can relate to, and share our message through various content channels. We'll get into that. But this is kind of the stage where you'll want to nurture those initial leads a little bit more. You don't want to push any products or services on them yet, but you want to give them some more information on what it is you're offering, how you help your members, your community, things like that. And so ways to nurture this interest. Blog posts are a great one. We've talked about blog posts a lot. They're relatively easy to get going. You could write them up in advance and kind of post them maybe once a week or at a steady pace if you can set a schedule for yourself. Of course, if you don't have the time, you could hire freelance writers on sites like Fiverr, but you could also nurture interest through lead magnets. If you have an ebook to offer, maybe require these leads to provide their email address in return for that ebook, and so then you can send them email campaigns and further nurture their interest that way. Chatbots or an actual live chat where you're actually chatting with website visitors. This is a phenomenal tool that you can use. We've talked about this in previous webinars as well. Live chat is our preferred tool for this. Of course, you could also use things like Facebook chat. There's also automated chatbots, although the live chat would give you the most benefit here. Other ways to nurture interest: social media, of course, interacting with your followers on social media platforms. Don't just share content with them. A lot of platforms now offer the availability to create polls and other things that can actually get people to interact with you on the platform rather than just sending them a link to click on. Some other ways are to offer free trials so that these initial leads with a little bit of interest can get a better understanding of what it is your website does and offers and how it can benefit them. And then retargeting campaigns, which we've mentioned in one of the previous webinars as well, where you're actually specifically targeting these leads who have previously come to your website, whether it's through ads or email campaigns or things like that.
Yeah, and really it's right here in the interest stage. We're really trying to carry the trust that we've created from the awareness stage. So now they know about our brand, and we want to continue to keep their interest in our brand that will eventually carry them into the purchasing stage, the final stage, where they actually sign up for something, for a paid service.
That's right, and that takes us into the third stage, which is the actual consideration phase. So the lead is now actually interested in your brand, in your website, in your community, and now they're actually considering making that purchase, whether it's for a membership or an ebook or a course or a webinar that you're offering, but they're still not 100% sure if what it is you're offering is right for them, if it really does solve whatever problem they're having, or if it addresses their needs or concerns. Some other things that you might want to address is whether or not it could fit into their budget. These are the things where they think your website or your solution could benefit them, but they're still not sure. So our goal here is to try to push them over that finish line a little bit. And so some of the ways we can do this are through testimonials and case studies. This is a very easy way and a very effective way. You could have just text reviews or testimonials sprinkled throughout your website. If you have some members of your community that are just completely thrilled with what it is you're doing, you might want to ask them for a video testimonial. That goes a long way, and you can embed that video on your website. You can share it on your social platforms. Of course, this is when we can start to link to our pricing and sign-up pages. Remember, before this, we were just really getting people interested and then nurturing that interest. We didn't necessarily want to sell them anything. Now here's where we want to start introducing them into the idea of actually purchasing a membership or anything else that we're offering. So we do want to link to our pricing and sign-up pages, offering discount codes or bundles or annual discounts, things like that to entice them to purchase a little bit more. Some live demos or video tutorials about how your website works, what can be done with your website, how it'll benefit them. You can also compare yourself to some of your competitors. If you do have competitors, you might want to do just a simple little side-by-side column and do some check marks for what you're offering compared to what your competitors aren't offering. That would be a great way. And then another one is if you're going after kind of a low volume number of members, but maybe with a high membership cost, you might have the time and the availability to provide consultations to these potential members. So that might be something you would want to invest in. But the thing here is that we really want to continue to show our credibility, our authority, and just push those leads across the finish line now.
And one more thing that can help persuade prospects, if they're just about on the fence to making a purchasing decision, is also a sense of urgency. So, memberships are sometimes not always open year-round for certain communities. There's limited windows to join. There's limited discounts for early bird signups and things like that. So you can definitely use a sense of urgency to persuade now interested prospects into crossing the finish line and making a purchase.
And lastly, the conversion, the sale, our end goal here. So after nurturing our lead, this is when they're ready to buy, and it's our job to help seal the deal. This is when we really want to address any final concerns or doubts that they might have about our offering. And to do that, we would want to provide as much information as we can, but then also after they buy, we want to give them some sort of educational material or introductory material at least to help familiarize them with our community, to welcome them in and reinforce some confidence that they did make the right decision purchasing.
And really from start to finish, the end game here is you want to cast the net, So I think in another webinar we can talk about how to cast that net, because that really is the most important part here. But bringing people to your website, or bringing them to like an ebook you're offering or some type of resource that's valuable to them. And then after they find that resource, isn't just abandoning them, but nurturing them and getting them connected to your social media channels and continuing to engage them. It might take a month, it might take 3 months, but just having this system in place will ensure that, as long as you have people coming into the top funnel, that a certain percentage of them will convert into a sale. So without this system, you just have a website online and you're just hoping people look at the website and make a buying decision, which is perfectly fine. But if you really want a system that you can refine over time and maximize conversion rates, and also potentially get analytics and data from to, again, improve this process, following a system like this will definitely first of all, it gives you something to do and think about your business and the customer journey that they're going to go on, and then ways that you can appeal to your customers. And if you can nail this, then you really do have a system for success that you can repeat year after year and improve year after year for attracting prospective members and converting them into paid subscribers.
Yeah, and so getting back into this fourth stage, the conversion, the sale, we want to eliminate as many barriers to them buying as possible. So we want to have a simple buying process. We don't want to bombard them with a lot of different membership options, maybe just 2 or 3 options, if that. We want to make it as simple as possible for them to join. They're at that stage where they're confident in what we're offering. We've built that trust and credibility with them. So now it's our job to make that buying process as simple and as quick and painless as possible. And so after that, then we can send them a thank you email. You can also choose which page they're directed to. So you might want to add some information either directly into their member dashboard, or if you want to create a dedicated thank you page, you can do that. And you can provide them with some insider success tips or some introductory and training videos, just some information to make sure that they're set up for success on your website. They know exactly what to do first, how to edit their profile, how to get the information out there to the website visitors, how to collect leads if you're providing them with leads, things like that. We just want to make sure that they know exactly what to do on the site, and they'll be able to accomplish what they need to. And so again, with that, going into the thank you page and the email, that's really what's going to set our brand new members up for success. And so now that we've covered the 4 stages, again, first stage is just that initial awareness stage. Then we want to nurture their interest. After that is when they start to consider making a purchase, whether that's a membership or an ebook or whatever it is you're offering them. And that last stage is finally pushing them over that finish line and collecting that sale. So now what we wanted to do was we wanted to go over some sample landing page and then also a thank you page with you to kind of show you some best practices for how to set that up and things to address.
Yeah, so let's say you do a social media post and you're trying to bring people to your website. You can certainly bring them to maybe a blog post that you've published. But if you really want to capture an email address, so you know that they're interested and they're in the interest phase now, it's after they show engagement, like giving you their email address in exchange for an ebook or a resource. Do they really graduate from the awareness stage to the interest stage? So we've done this in a few previous webinars, but just wanted to kind of show you guys how you can easily create a landing page with a form for people to fill out, and then directing them to a thank you page. Just those 2 simple things will go a long way in your ability to create assets like ebooks or whatever it is, bring people to your website, get that email exchange from them, and then you can nurture them into the interest and consideration stage until the stage where they make a sale. So, let's say you have a Facebook channel and you're just kind of posting, industry news and things like that. Let's create a landing page for an ebook offer that you potentially have. So let's do that together now. And what I like to do is I like to start with the thank you page first, and then I like to create kind of the offer page where you can put the form there and where people are going to go to as the landing page. So we're going to do things pretty simple here. I'm not going to do anything too fancy, just so we can all follow along. So what I'll do is I'll create a new web page. And the URL for this will be ebook thank you. And I'll give it a nickname, same thing, ebook thank you. And that's just the internal nickname. So I'm going to use the hero section that we talked about earlier in the webinar. So thanks, here is your ebook. Click the link below to download. Okay, so I'm going to use the hero section here a bit, and I'm going to enable it. And I'll just kind of keep these things default, the font sizes. We'll do a white color here for the font, and I'll choose an image for the background. And I just have a kind of a standard image here. So let me just save the hero section, and also let me center this as well. So this is going to be our thank you page, and let's view the page. There we go. So thanks, here's your ebook. Click the link below to download, and let's go ahead and add a link below here. In the content area, actually, I'm going to use a table here, and I'm going to say thanks for requesting an ebook, and I'll just duplicate that a bunch of times. So we have like a paragraph of text here, and then I'll do click here to download ebook. So what we can do is we can convert this text into a button, and you want to put the URL for your ebook here. So if you don't know what the URL for your ebook is, in your media manager you can upload PDF files and images and whatnot. So if we click on upload image here, it actually does open the media manager. And the best way to get a link directly to your ebook is, oh, I don't have any PDFs here, but you can right click on any of these. This is a really good tip to know. Right click on any of these and click on copy URL. And then you can just copy this right here. That's the URL if you had a PDF. And I'll go ahead and close this. So now when I want to link this text, turn it into a link, that's the URL that I want to put there. And in this case, I'm going to do open a new tab, and I'm going to insert it. And what's really cool now is, and we've kind of explained this in previous webinars, is now you can actually turn these links into buttons pretty easily. So they use the button colors in your design settings. I'll do a large success button here, so a large green button, and we can go bold as well. And I think I will center it here. So let's just save these changes. Okay, great. And let me do one more thing here. Here is another pro tip for you guys. There's actually display settings here, and you can actually hide things like hiding your footer, hiding your main menu. So maybe on the landing page, you don't want all those elements. You kind of want to focus them on to the content here. And then let me show you what else you guys can do here, just to kind of expand your vision here of what you can make these landing pages into. You can insert another row here, and you can do things like join our Facebook page too, and then you could put an image here and link the image to your Facebook page. You can put icons and things like that. So like if we wanted to link people to the Brilliant Directories Facebook group, we could come here, turn it into a link, and do the same thing. It's not going to be too pretty what I'm doing here, but you kind of get the idea of what you can do. It shouldn't just be a landing page for the ebook. You want to continue the conversation, continue the dialogue, give them the next thing that they can do after they've gotten the ebook. Always take them down your breadcrumb trails to the finish line, and that's part of nurturing them and taking them from the awareness to the interest phase. So I'll go ahead and save these changes, and in effect, we have a thank you page. So here's a link to the Facebook group. You can see here the footer is now gone from the site. So we've kind of removed them. And this is, again, improving their navigation. We're focusing them on downloading the ebook and joining our Facebook group and kind of removing some other things. So I turn this into a link. If I click on it, it's going to be that image. This image here, we can see it takes us to this link. If it was a PDF, it would take us to the PDF. But we've now created the thank you page. So now that we've done this, let's create the landing page that they would come to. So we're going to create a new page, and we're going to say this is the landing page. Okay, and we'll do the same thing. I like adding the hero section here, and I'll just use the same colors here. Okay, great, and we'll call this landing page. Okay, and we'll just go ahead and save those changes. Now, I need a form on this landing page. So let's say I wanted a form where I collect the name and the email address and a phone number. So what we want to do, landing page, offer. So what we want to do here, and this is a side step that we all want to do, is we want to go to the form manager, and we're just going to quickly create a form for this landing page. So I'm going to click on new form and call it landing page offer 1, just whatever you want to call it. You could just copy and paste this as the variable name, and I'll go ahead and save the changes. Okay, great. So here's our new form. This is a basic form. It always starts you off with enter name, email, and phone number. In this case, I'm going to get rid of the enter message. I don't really need that for this form. And I'll get rid of enter phone number. And I'll go ahead and save the changes. Okay, so let me just go back to the form manager, make sure everything is saved properly here. Yep, we have landing page offer 1. Now here's what's really cool about the forms, and I think this is pretty overlooked, or most people aren't aware of this. What you can do is you can actually choose the page people are redirected to after they fill out any form, but in this case, this form. So what you want to do is go to Actions, Edit Form Settings, and this is really cool. You want to go to Save Actions. So what happens after they complete the form, after they save the form? What you want to do is change the save actions to redirect to URL. In this case, that's what I want to do, and I want to redirect to that new fancy thank you page that I created, which is ebook thank you. So I'll just copy this URL here. And what we want to do is save actions, redirect to URL, and then redirect URL. Just paste that in there. And also what's really cool, I'm not going to go into too much detail here, for these types of forms, there's actually email settings. You can actually send the person an email after they submit this form also. So you would just set this to yes, and then you could select any of the email templates that are available on your site. Probably you're going to create a custom email template for this offer saying here's your ebook, etc., etc. But you can certainly send them an email after their submission. So let me just go ahead and save these changes. Okay, great. Okay, so I have a form, landing page offer 1. I'm basically going to get their name and their email. And also here's a quick tip. This copy button here, you just need to copy this short code, and this is what we have to paste on the landing page that I'm going to create, and the form will then render on that landing page. So we've created the form, and we have the landing page offer page. I'm going to kind of do a table again here. We'll just do a 2-column table. And I'm just going to put a title, fill in the form below, and then paste that in there. And this is why you should fill in the form. And what we can do is we can put some bullet points here, point 1, point 2, etc. And see how you see this is moving here as I keep adding points. In this case, we're going to want to vertically align this to the top. So it doesn't matter that this is longer or shorter. So again, pro tip here is do that. And I'm going to increase the font size here to 30, make it bold. Same with this. Font size 30 and make it bold. And more pro tips coming down the line too here. What I want is for the form side where the form equals landing page offer 1, I'm going to put a soft background color in this, like a soft gray. And this is also something new, is you can actually increase the padding on these forms. If you want more space off the walls of the cell, I'm going to do extra large padding here. We could see it got pushed in a bit more. I'm going to do that on this side too. Extra large padding. I'm just going to go ahead and save my changes here. Okay, let's view the page. Okay, so I'm doing this really quick. I'm not doing, it could be a lot prettier than this, but basically what we have here is, we have a landing page, we have the form here, On the right side, we could put a video or whatever we want that's going to motivate them to get this ebook or whatever we're offering from filling out this form. And I'll go ahead and fill out this form now. I'll do jason@jason.com, and we'll submit this message here. Okay, great. So now it's redirected me to my thank you page, because that's what we chose in the form, is when this form is filled out, redirect it to this thank you page. And again, these could be images. I'm just using the basic buttons here, but I could click here to get the ebook or whatever it was that I was promised. Or it doesn't even need to be an ebook. Just put the benefits of whatever info you're giving them on this page. And also there was an option to send me an email after filling out that form as well. So we brought people from a social media post to a landing page. And from the landing page, we collected the email address. They are now part of our ecosystem. We took them to the thank you page. And here's my favorite part, is if you go to your emails in the dashboard, go to form inquiries. I'll open this in a new tab. We can see here right at the top of the list, there is a new inquiry that was filled out on the landing page URL. The form filled out was landing page offer 1. And if you filter by form, you can see you can get all the people who filled out your landing page offer 1 form. And what's even cooler is you can then export those inquiries of people who just filled out this form. So if you wanted to create an email list or start a campaign somewhere, you can certainly identify who these people are, export the inquiries, and you could start nurturing them down the membership sales funnel. But really it starts with doing that social media post or wherever you're advertising offsite to bring people to your site. And when you bring them to your site, you want to have that brochure feel. It gets them sucked in and interested in what you're doing. And then you definitely want to have some type of landing page with an offer for them to get their feet wet and for you to get your foot in the door and to pique their interest into not your main offering, but something ancillary or separate from your main offering that does demonstrate that you have a valuable resources for them. Okay, great. So yeah, I like to start with the thank you page. You probably should create your form first. Just create new form and add or remove whatever fields you want to collect as information from that form. And then create your main landing page, not the thank you page, the main landing page, and just insert that form there and decorate the page however you want with images, smiley faces, benefits of why they should complete the form on that page. And now you are in the beginning stages of the top funnel of awareness and interest by providing that lead magnet.